Kaboom, guess who stepped in the room? What's happening? It's Kalonji Changa in the building tonight. And some of y'all checking in right now, y'all like, wait, where the rest of the crew at? Whole team on vacation. But we couldn't let y'all down tonight. We're like, listen, Renegade culture got to go on. It has to happen. So I know some of y'all looking for Kamau, some of y'all looking for the ear doctor. But tonight, man, it's almost like it's Riot Started TV, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Renegade coaches in the building. We have a real heavy duty show tonight. We're going to keep it quite gutter. We're going to talk about some things that we don't often talk about. One major thing that, you know, that's happening, has been happening. You know what I mean? It's about organization and structure. You know what I mean? So tonight I called on one of my close comrades. He is technical director and master instructor of the Afrikan Martial Arts Institute. He also co-chairs the Urban Survival Preparedness Institute. He's an author of about close to 40 books, you know, and man, amongst so many things, but he's the real deal. You know, so I wanted to bring on my brother tonight, Balogun Ojetade. You know, he's my comrade, brother, so on and so forth. And, you know, we're going to get busy. We're going to talk about some revolution tonight. We're going to talk about things that are necessary, because oftentimes, you know, some of you know me from this whole YouTube thing, from, you know, Black Power Media. You know me from Renegade Culture, the Remix Morning Show and all of that. But first things first, I'm an organizer. I'm a freedom fighter, you know, and I'm about my people. So, you know, sometimes folks get it twisted when we, you know, cracking jokes and all that. Tonight, this show is going to be a tad bit more tight. You know what I mean? We still going to have some jokes and whatnot, because that's just what we do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we're going to talk about the business. So I want y'all to stay tuned, stick around for a minute. We're going to go to a quick break, and I'm going to bring back my comrade, Balogun Ojetade. We in here, Renegade Culture.
Mass hysteria and losing are widespread across the world. Riots were reported in London, and the United Nations calling for
Forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, we are no clip, forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, when we start, we are the video, forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, we don't click up, forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, when we start, we are the quit. My brothers and sisters, don't move started. Remember say yes, we are higher than average. System we pillage, plunder, ravage. Still our land, so I can live lavish. Poison the food, continually damage. Risk of the curriculum, school and college. Forward motion, elevate knowledge. Alfred man, figure let go to college. We're killing shot for we in your forehead. One is with your tummy, so no more dirt. One is with your sister, means no more dirt. One is with the earth, means you're more dirt. One is with spirit, means you're true third. From the big we have been original man, foundation, our original stand for criminal destiny, original man, aboriginal man, Indio, Kimetan, Kushai, Lupigan, Panchigan, Akipilan, Dartigan, of the land, dealing with communication has been our ancestral plan. Forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, we are the whole clip of forward motion, that we are there with forward motion, when we start. We have a video, forward motion, that we are the with forward motion, we are the whole click of forward motion, that we are the with forward motion, when we start, we have a quick forward motion, never back on nigga. Get out, drop, stop selling crack, stop pulling triggers. I'm black, you black, keep black, black class mother, go tigger. Equality is equal to right man privilege. Give me that. Give me right man privilege. Pop. Wild cops purging the pillage. In the urban landscape, the black village, America, white supremacist. You condition cool, just don't get it. RPG is coming soon, them niggas are the realest. Genocide, yeah, they're gonna kill us. Civic continents, why? Yeah, they're gonna kill us. This is global white supremacy. That is the global enemy. Fire burn with Jesus Christ. Fire burn white Christianity. Forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. We are no click of your forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. When we start, we are no click yo. Forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. We are no click of your forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. When we start, we are no quit.
Young and I'm black and my guy call me Atlas. I got the whole world on my shoulders. I am the maker, the owner, the indigenous soul controller. All these devils act like they control us. Send they police to patrol us. I know they said trust, but I'm focused. I triggered the trap to free focus. Knew this you rude would do it, you rude do fuck it, and that's when you devil. I knew that your race and your whole population was below replacement devil. Fear of genetic annihilation at the end of your dominion. I study your nature, ISIS papers, Dr. Francis Cross Wilson. I'm dominant, you a recessor, so actually time's on my side. Despite your aggression and all the oppression, I'm ever forward. Ain't no way to stop a conscious ghetto got decolonized from a goddamn mythicide, pre-brought through the top, all white civilized black liberation, nigga. I'll be before holy, only black revolutionary homies. Straight ahead, Russell Maroon shows pony. Gunshots, that mean forward. Lick one, that means rewind. Forward. My selector, reload your carbine.
Forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. We are no click of your forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. When we start, we have a quick yo. Forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. We are no click of your forward motion. That we are there with forward motion. When we start, we have a quick.
What's happening? That was Forward Motion. That's a video produced by video featuring Diaspora Blac out of DC, Wise Intelligent from Poor Righteous Teachers. That video right there, Forward Motion, was produced a couple years ago by the brother you see on the screen, Balogun Ojetade, and myself. That was our debut directing together on the video tip. You know what I'm saying? What's happening, Balogun? What's good, man?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Man, happy to see you here today, man. It's like I needed some revolutionary backing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I needed a hit. You know what I mean? So glad you're in the building today, man.
Glad to be here.
No doubt. Now, normally for the viewers, used to seeing a whole crew. For those of you who are late, you know what I'm saying? The team is in different locations tonight. Folks are traveling, you know what I mean? So I was just like, look, man, we're not about to not have renegade culture. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's one or none, we're gonna get the job done. But anyway, my man Balogun's in the building, comrade. For folks who are unaware, I gave him a brief bio. Can you hit him with what's what as far as who you are, where you come from? You know what I mean? And,
yes,
what the mission is?
Yeah, well, I'm the technical director, master instructor of the Afrikan Martial Arts Institute. I co-chair the Urban Survival and Preparedness Institute with Kalonji. I'm an author of nonfiction and fiction. I think I'm about 39, 40 books. I don't really count them. I just do them. Filmmaker, write pretty much anything. Have a page back in the days when people were, blogging a lot. I was doing the blog, my page, Chronicles of Harriet, which deals with speculative fiction, Black speculative fiction. I'm a priest of Ifa and Obatala, so I'm an Awo of Ifa, which means you're a priest, you know, and you're initiated to Ifa, and I'm initiated to Obatala. Do some work with my wife, you know. She has a shop, and she does more of that end. I'm more of the martial end, you know, as people who know me know. Came from Chicago originally, but my wife keeps telling me I'm an Atlantan now because I've been here 21 years, you know, but have lived all over the country, you know, in my young foolish days in the military, and you know, before that I went to Howard University. I keep, you know, I watched the Remix Morning Show. Seems like everybody went to Howard, and I'm part of that. I went to Howard, you know what I mean, for whatever that means. But that was a small part of my life, didn't really mold me that much. Left Howard because the women were 13 to 1 man, and my major went from finance to sisters. And I knew I wasn't gonna make it. I was gonna lose my scholarship. So I transferred to Columbia College, and then that way that was an excuse for me to be able to write and do what I want. Columbia is a school of the arts, College of the Arts in Chicago, you know. So I was able, I transferred there, and that allowed me to do the writing I wanted to do, and to live at home, stay away from so much wildness that I was getting into.
No doubt. Yeah, I know for some of y'all, you know, this feels like a Riot started TV joint, but it is Renegade culture. You know what I mean? And we're gonna keep that culture quite renegade-ish. I wanna, you know, we've been rolling together for damn near 2 decades, decade and a half, somewhere near there. You know what I mean? Been all over the country, you know, together, been putting in work. You know what I mean? You're one of the brothers, or one of the comrades. I'm not even gonna say brothers, comrades. Period. That is close and dear to me. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate your help in my growth, helping growing the FTP movement, the Urban Survival Preparedness Institute, and you know, you co-founding the Siafu movement itself. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely grateful to call you a comrade. One of the things we often talk about, you know, we have a lot of folks jumping up and down talking about their warriors. You know what I mean? And we talked about this in the past: warrior scholars, warrior healers, warrior doctors. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that whole warrior thing. When you talk about a warrior, what is a warrior when in your eyes, when we talk about definition?
A warrior is a person that, number one, war is in that, right? So they make war with those who endanger or take from, lessen their people. Okay, different from a soldier. A soldier serves for money, some other type of material gain. A warrior, they serve the people, not really the military itself, because most warriors, when you talk about African warriors, they come from society where there's a small group that are the military, and then the rest of the warriors come from the people. Okay, and that's done on purpose. The majority have to be from the people, so then there's no abuse of these 100 men sending 10,000 to abuse their own people, right? It's not going to happen. So that's number one. And then part of, to prove you're that thing, number one, to qualify, you have to train. You train to kill if you have to, maim, mangle, incapacitate, really do what you have to do when it comes to that physical end of protecting your people. So you can't be a warrior egg salad sandwich. Because egg salad sandwiches are not doing anything to keep the enemy from your gates, to keep the enemy from kicking in your door. But real men and women, you know, who are warriors are warriors. I am a scholar, but I'm not a warrior scholar. I'm a warrior who happens to also be a scholar, right? I am a priest, but I'm not a warrior priest. I'm a warrior who happens to be a priest, a warrior who has to be an author, not a warrior author. So any dude who calls himself, he's an author, but he's never trained a day in his life to protect his people. He's not politically educated, but he calls himself a warrior. It's bullshit. That's bullshit, because he doesn't have strategic training. He doesn't have the political education of why he's doing what he's doing. And so he's going to be abusive and probably ineffective for anything. Now, he may be a great writer. That does not make him a warrior. So there's no such thing as a warrior author. He's a warrior, may also be an author, but no such thing. So just because you whatever, it doesn't, you know, a man, it doesn't qualify you to call yourself a warrior. You have to qualify that through a training and experience. Now, there are some people who say they're priests. Now, there's danger to that stuff. I'm a priest. They've never been trained. I'm a priest. I'm a Babala. And they're killing folks. They're getting folks into all kinds of spiritual problems, mental problems, because they're doing something they're not supposed to. So we have a thing that we call, well, there's 16 laws in the Ifa. One says never call Ewe. Never call Ewe. You never call yourself something that you are not. And the only way you can be that thing is you have to qualify yourself for it, and then the people have to recognize you as that thing. So as much as I'm a teacher, I'm called the master of the Afrikan Martial Arts Institute. If nobody wanted to train with me because I'm an asshole or because I don't know what I'm doing, what kind of teacher am I? So people love to say, well, you know, when the student is ready, the master appears. They don't say the whole statement. When the student is ready, the master appears. When the master is ready, the student appears. That's actually the same. That's right. You know, but people don't want to deal with that part because we want to make ourselves so much bigger. Big I, little you. You know, I'm over you. And so we have a lot of people playing. And the reason why they do the big I, little you, if I make you feel you're little, you don't dare question me. I can bring you all this bullshit. Don't know what I'm doing. And I never get challenged, right? So a lot of instructors come to my class and they're like, man, you know, you were talking to your students and you showed them this and then they threw a punch at you hard. Yeah, well, if I can't answer that, I don't need to have my ass on the mat. That's right. You know what I mean? I don't get mad at it or anything. That's what we do. We're in the actual warriors class. So, I mean, hell, you think you're not going to be tested? That's right. You know,
yeah, you know, I appreciate that answer. You know, along with that, because of the fact that you happen to talk about the mat, you know, and we're gonna bounce around because of the fact we only got but so much time, but at the same time, you know, there's so much to cover. And I feel like this particular episode is necessary because of the fact that I think that when we talk about we're at war, when we talk about revolution, oftentimes we deal with so much theory and not enough practice. You know what I mean? We talk about we can answer all the questions. We so damn book smart, but when it comes to us operating on a practical level, we're stunned and we're numb. You know, so I want to talk about that. The mat. One of the things you talk about is the mat being the truth, right? Afrikan martial arts. You know, for folks that's checking it out, that's listening, you know, oftentimes people think that when you say Afrikan martial arts, it's maybe, you know, you learn some karate and you just threw some African names on it, or you know what I'm saying, or you was kickboxing and then, you know, you said ashe and threw on a daishiki and some flip flops and, you know, got you some vegan lollipops and a jug of water and shit, and that made you official. What is Afrikan martial arts? Let's talk about that.
All right. Afrikan martial arts is not wearing the dashiki. You know, it's funny. When I was a little boy, look at this article in a martial art magazine I won't name, but they had a dude that said Afrikan martial arts. So of course I pick it up, you know, and I open it and it's a dude with a gorilla mask on. I closed that shit, man. It's like, come on. So we think to be African, there's a show to it. That's number one. So a lot of these sporty arts are very showy. So we love that. We get the show, but we want to make it African show. So we throw the dashiki on, we do, and we think that's Afrikan martial arts. Man, student of mine, I was shocked. He's been training for me, I think at that point, probably 8-9 years. He says to me, where's the African and Afrikan martial arts? I said, what? He said, where's the African and Afrikan martial arts? I was shocked that he asked me that.
Right.
I said, oh, I understand. Because we're wearing t-shirts and cargo pants, you're wondering, why aren't we wearing African clothes? Why aren't we, you know, why don't we have a mohawk haircut? You know, I said, well, okay, why are we driving cars then? You know, why are we riding horseback? And if we rode a horse, it has to have candy cloth saddle because it's African. Quiet. Sorry, that's my puppy. Right? She agrees. Now, when I told him that, I said that what makes it African, and anything African actually, is culture. Right. That's number one. And so technique with culture. You can say, well, okay, I'm with you. I study Ifa and I do Taekwondo. So now that's Afrikan martial arts. No, because the culture of Taekwondo is Korean. It's not African. So when we apply a technique, the thought process from the African, we've been around a lot longer than other folks. We've had time to realize, okay, kicking to the head, that's nice. That's nice. But if I kick a man that's 6 feet tall, I'm kicking at his head. He's equally as fast as I am. I'm kicking at his head 6 feet. He's kicking at my knee, which is 3 feet above the ground. Mathematics tells us he'll get to my knee first. I lose that engagement. So we've learned that over time, that part. And then we learn who's the best person to go to if I want to learn supreme technique. Now, this is the kicker for Afrikan martial arts, how it's different. We say, because martial arts, Asian martial arts are very, 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 very male. Very male. Okay. The African says, let me go to women and ask them how to do these techniques. People say, huh? Aren't men the ones chiefly responsible for the protection of the people? Chiefly, yes. And that's why we had the sense to go to women, right? So I weigh about 205 pounds, okay? I have a student that's 110 pounds, 5'1", 5 feet. I'm 6'1". There's no way on God's green earth, if you ask me, how do I stop somebody from bear hugging me? If I'm not trained, I'll say or I'm trained in something else, I'll say the exact same thing that any big man, you know, you move, you throw him off balance, I'll have a different way. There's no way I'm going to be thinking like a woman who's 5 feet tall, 110 pounds. She has to rely on extreme and ultimate technique. The ultimate technique is any technique that works for you, because it may not work for me. It works for you. It may not be good for me, right? What works best for her? And so we looked at, okay, this is how you get out of it. Then we combine that with our natural larger size and strength. Now you can combine that, because when people tell you strength doesn't matter in martial arts, they're a damn lie. Of course it does. You know I can mobilize.
Okay.
That's a master instructor under me. I can mobilize 6'3", about 225 pounds. When he first came to me, he was 240 pounds.
And
225 pounds of muscle.
And I've caught some of his blows. So I know damn well that it's pure muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're going to tell me that Balogun, who weighs about 115 pounds of that, is going to hit like he does? Right. Is going to throw like he does? Oh, she's good. Man, she's good. But she's not hitting like that.
Right on.
Okay. So that you take that kind of strength and hardness of body like that, and you put the techniques that came from women in him. When he first came to me, I told him, first thing I'm going to do is you're going to fight like a small person. I didn't say woman because that runs cats off. Right. So you're going to fight like he knows now, of course, but you're going to fight like a small person. And that's the first thing we're going to make you small. And once we got him to that era, that level, excuse me, he wasn't fighting like just a big old roar, because when he first came, he was just using his strength. Right. Now he's using technique, buffeted by that strength. So, you know, that's the big thing. And for those who don't know, and if you disagree with this, it's just because you don't know. There's no forms in the traditional African martial arts. And you say, well, it's a bunch of cultures in Africa. Yeah, but there are similarities, and I can get into that later. Why? There's a strong similarity across the board, east to west, north to south, in the African traditions. There's some cultural differences, right? But strong technical similarities for a specific reason. And the one thing they don't have is forms. Reason why is because I could spend 2 years perfecting a form. That's 2 years I could have been working with a human being who's going to have resistance. They're hitting me with speed, timing, power, and I got to learn to work against that. Their mind. But if I'm in the air is not, it may be sentient. I don't know. It may be sentient, but it's sure not joint locking me. It's sure not trying to stop me from stabbing it. It's sure not getting out the way, slipping when I punch. It's not doing any of that. So I'm not really, I can develop speed, but I can't develop combat speed. If I'm just working with a form, I have to work with a person, because combat speed is timing, and timing is my technique in relation to that person's technique. Okay. And we're always assuming that the person is better than I am. So I bring my A game. Because I've heard instructors from Asian arts, and I'm not saying all, but I've heard instructors from Asian arts say, you know, a thug mess with you, a chump on the street mess with you. Well, why are you training for a chump on the street? Right. What does that mean? A chump on the street? I mean, hit him upside the head with a bottle, or, you know what I mean? Right. But somebody who is highly trained, better trained than you. You step in there one day in my class, okay, it's gonna be people better than you. And you have people who've been training for nearly 50 years. It'll be 50 years next April. I'm training for people better than me, younger than me, quicker than me, smarter than me, hard to be prettier than me, but you know, maybe that too. I'm training for people better than me, right? And so now I got to really train, and I got to bring my A game. Ain't no easy road. I can give you techniques that you can easily learn to defend yourself. You can walk out of class one day and you be able to defend yourself, save your life, and run. But to be able to protect your people, that's a whole nother level of something.
You know, speaking of that, not to cut your bill, but when you talk about the class itself, one of the beautiful things about the Afrikan Martial Arts Institute is when you walk in, no matter what is being taught, that's what you're going to learn. And I'm saying this for the viewers, you know what I mean? If you walk in on Sunday and it's a disarming class, that's what the session is about, then that's what you're going to learn. If you walk in and it's knife fighting or stick fighting or hand to hand, then that's what you're going to learn. So I want to point out and emphasize the fact that it's not a sport. You know what I mean? Right. Because I think that oftentimes folks try to compare it to other sports. You know what I mean? Sport like arts, more or less. I want to, we're talking about combat. I want to talk about revolution, right? And I know it's a heavy word. We have one thing I've learned just from organizing is you have some folks who are, good with the heavy spiritual, and then you have some folks who are, good thinkers on the mental, and then you have some folks who have brute strength, like you're saying, or some type of training. Sometimes, how important is it to have all three, physical, mental, and spiritual, when you're talking about revolution or people's liberation? How important is that?
That's the only way you're, as a warrior, that you can be a warrior who is fit for revolution. Okay. So number one, you'll hear people from class saying this is a thinking person's art. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't be, sorry to use the term, you can't be a dummy and you're coming in there, because we're always testing you with questions, because we got to see how you're thinking. What are your politics? And politics and martial arts, a lot of, times I'll say to people, take out a tool. We don't call knives, guns, sticks. We don't call them weapons. You're the weapon.
That's right.
We call them tools. Those are just tools. And how skillful and honed the weapon is how worthy that tool is on the battlefield, right? So I say, pull out a tool. Excuse me. Stop. All Ogun folk, we have dogs. Well, most. So I just, and that's my daughter's dog right there. Which is my 12-year-old. My 12-year-old, by the way, is 6 feet tall. So just so you know,
I watched it go from 6 inches to 6 feet.
Right, exactly.
Over the years. Yeah.
So she wanted a big dog, so we got, she wanted the German Shepherd, so that we have, which is a thinker. That's a pure Ogun dog. Let me say this quickly. A lot of brothers want to, I'm Ogun. There was a married couple who, I talked to you who they are offline. Married couple. And the husband was, I'm Ogun. And the wife's so nice, I divine for him, find out he's Oshun. Now that's the female Orisha, beauty and love.
Right.
She's Ogun. Folks from North Carolina. That's all I'll say on that.
I already knew when you said it.
Cool. Yeah, she's Ogun. A lot of people don't know that. Right? So because male energy, and we ain't talking about masculine and feminine, male energy has nothing to do with what gender you are.
That's right.
So those studies are important. So we're not mistaken and calling ourselves, once again, calling ourselves something that we aren't, just because we really don't understand that thing. And maybe the person who taught us about that thing didn't understand that thing. So yes, the mental is important. The spiritual is important. First level of spirituality is knowing who you are, why you're doing what you do. Okay. That's the first, which is being politically educated.
Yes, sir.
That's beyond mental. That's spiritual. You got to know who you are.
That's right.
Who your people are. Why you do what you do for your people and against your people's enemies. You got to know that, so you're not abusing your people and you're not making mistakes. You're not on the wrong side of the barricade, right? That's right. Well, that's the first part of spirituality. And the second part of spirituality is having some type of morals and then having some type of guidance. Okay. If I was walking around here with the skill I have, with no morals, oh my goodness, brother. This whole neighborhood would be mine. This whole neighborhood would be mine. Me and my family would be living well. You know, I'd be all in capitalism and taking all of their stuff. And it wouldn't be nothing they could do.
That's right.
Nothing. Because I've watched how the people move. I'm watching how they move, though, because I know if everything falls down and we are at my house, then we have to go and train these people to make the whole neighborhood safe.
That's right.
But I'm watching, because some of these folks, you're not going to be able to train them. I know what I have to do, you know. A couple came to the house. They weren't African. Came to the house one day. And that's what shocked my son. During the height of COVID, right? We don't have water. Nobody would give us any water. Could you give us some water? I said, oh, sure. Give me your bucket. And I filled it up, gave him water. As soon as I closed the door, I looked upstairs. I knew he was looking at me. I said, you're wondering why I gave those folks water, right? He said, yeah. I said, think about it. It's COVID-19. It's a pandemic. If everything falls down, and then and he said, oh, I understand. So you the nigga they don't worry about. Right. Yes, right. Exactly. You get it, son. And so, you know, that's all part of, so when we talk about thinking spiritual, it's all part of it, and it doesn't turn off. So when we talk about the Urban Survival and Preparedness Institute, urban survival is always, because we're always in that environment. Woodland survival is good to know. That's where I first trained at, in woodland survival, right? But how many of us, Black folk I'm talking about, are gonna make it to the woods? People say, you know, soon as stuff fall down, I'm making it to the woods. You know how many people are going to be on the roads to get from New Orleans, trying to get to Atlanta? That's only a few hours, but people trying to just get out of New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina happened, right? It took them 19 hours just to get out of New Orleans, out of a city. How are you getting to the forest when the roads are shut down and when people are on the roads waiting to waylay you to take your stuff because they're desperate, just like you are. You're desperate to get to the forest. They're desperate to take some shit, and they're going to take your stuff. Well, you're not going to get to the forest. I'm just telling you the truth, unless you live closer there anyway. So the hood becomes your forest. You better know how to survive. But everything ain't just falling down like that right now. So we're moving about, but we're getting attacked on a daily basis by folks, you know, the Brussels police. Read between the lines. We're getting attacked by, if you're from Brussels, hey, you know, say somewhere else, say the American police. I don't know what you're gonna do, right? But we're getting attacked by other folks who, you know, abductors. I'm being careful what I say, but you know, some folks who, little boy just shot the other day, 6-year-old boy, shot by a cat. So it's always urban survival. You know, you better train because we're always at risk. You go to the forest, you're good if you can get there. That's your biggest trick. But our biggest trick is being able to survive day to day. And that's what we need to be able to survive and then thrive day to day.
One of the things that when we talk about organization, especially from USPI, Urban Survival Preparedness Institute side, and Afrikan Martial Arts, FTP, one of the main things that we talk about is camaraderie, building with your comrades. I'm not going to get all into detail as far as how we go about, but knowing your people, you understand what I'm saying? Knowing where each other live, knowing points, meetup points, so on and so forth. You know, these are things, like you said, that have to be practiced. It's kind of difficult for me at times with this whole with the online thing, because of the fact that you deal with a whole lot of people who think they're thinking. You deal with
Right.
a whole lot of people who've studied and studied and studied and studied, but haven't practiced. You understand what I'm saying? Who don't roll with other people, are unorganized. One of the things that Malcolm stressed was being a part of an organization. One of the things that Kwame Ture stressed was being a part of an organization. For you, how important is this? Is it to have comrades, to have an organization, to have structure? Coming from you and your training and what we do.
That's a must. You can't make it without comrades. You can't survive. I mean, there's a video that I know I shared with a couple of people. I shared definitely with our organization of this guy. He was Marine Special Ops. I think he was Force Reconnaissance. He was showing how to survive in an urban environment. And after he set up all this stuff, he set up in a hospital, I believe, which is actually a bad move. I wouldn't do that. But he set up in a hospital. And then after getting everything set up, he went out to find other people. Not so much like to rescue, but you can't survive alone. In SEER training, which is survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, I'm good at what I do. So I hadn't been found for days. I gave myself up. Now I'm a person that's trained mentally, all of that, how to resist torture. I gave myself up. Why? Because I was alone for 5 days. And I knew my survivability is almost nil at this point. People say, well, I've never give myself up. You're a lie. We know when we set up a certain room, tents inside, and some of us say, I'm gonna try to make it without a tent inside. Oh, they were dying. They were happy that they got the things that were given to them, but they were given to them by comrades.
Right.
To even be able to make it through. Imagine you in there by yourself, no tent.
And that was inside.
Right.
That wasn't even, yeah.
Right. Some people say tent inside. Stick with us, you'll learn why. Right.
That's right.
But imagine you're by yourself, man. So that the basics of that is like, damn, okay, your survivability is almost nil without somebody else. That's the truth of that. And then we come down to being able to thrive after. How do we build a society by ourselves?
That's right.
So it's a must. And then, okay, in this environment now, you have to be part of an organization. Otherwise, you're out here buck wild.
Okay.
I've seen people, I'm leading, I'm a leader, and you're not part of the organization. Who said you were a leader? You?
Right.
You didn't have to qualify nothing. You didn't have to do nothing. You just sitting at home, scratching your ass, talking about you leading something.
Collecting cash apps on the
right,
internet.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Opening up a facility that you've been talking about opening for 20 years for the people. And where that's at, because there's no check and balances on your ass, because you're not part of an organization to say, man, stop bullshitting.
Sure.
Stop bullshitting. You ain't taking the people's money. Right. And you say, well, I'm taking it, and you're part of an organization talking about, well, I'm taking their money. Yeah. I ain't gonna open this place, I'm just gonna take their money. You're gonna catch a pumpkin head.
Yeah.
And then the money goes back to the people where it should have been in the first place.
I want to point out too, with what we do as far as organization, one of the beautiful things about our brand of organizing is there is no one's above accountability. No one's above being checked. You know what I mean? It's not who the toughest, who the smartest, none of that shit. It's if you out of order, then your ass is out of order. And that goes for anybody, you, me, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the beautiful things, because of the fact that, again, when you're not a part of an organization, there's no accountability, there's no structure. And like you said, you can just run around and do what the hell you want to do without somebody slapping the taste out of somebody. You know what I mean?
Excuse me for a second. Sit. She's a trip.
I see. She understands English though.
Yeah, she understands that, and she understands my look. That's why she's trying not to look me in the face.
Okay.
She don't know. So I don't believe in hitting dogs. So she know that ain't gonna happen. But she knows she ain't gonna get walked by me tomorrow.
Right.
She'll be in the cage, bought her this big cage, trying to be nice to her, and she just spoiled as hell. So I shouldn't have done. I should have left her. My wife had this little cage. Now she's big.
Right.
She's a baby. She's only 5 months, but she's like 60 pounds. But my wife wasn't this little, but she had a little cage. I'm like, dude, hell no.
I was gonna say, don't do Yalagoon like that. I know she over there torturing her, putting in hamster cages.
Yalagoon said, man, if I had my druthers, she'd be an outside dog. I'm like, you tripping? You tripping? And my daughter like, no, she ain't gonna be, because of course my daughter been, spoiling her since day one. Although she's in Chicago right now with my mama, and I'm watching her dog. Right. But oh yeah, Yalagoon don't play with the dogs and stuff like that, even though she's a Ogun person. Right. But she ain't I'm the one, she love that dog. She really did you take her out? Did you? Yeah. I took her out 3 times. Hey, I'm gonna take her out one more time,
For the folks like, in the chat, you checking out Renegade Culture, and we could talk about Balogun dog if we want to. I know someone like, what the hell are they doing? I want to dip back into the whole survival preparedness.
Yes.
One of the things that we talk about is are the bags. Let's talk about the bags. What's necessary when we talk about, the go bags? You know what I'm saying? What's the talk about some of the necessities when we talk about survival bags?
Yes. So, one, I carry a get home bag, which is smaller. It has a medical kit attached to it. It has some things I can use to open doors and other survival equipment in there that's necessary. Flashlight, things I won't talk about. Right. That's my get home bag. My bug out bag, which we call go bags, mine is a 10-day bag, because I'm calculating I'll have to replenish if some people make it to my house. I have to replenish some stuff they missing. Certain members of my family may not have all that they need. They better have, their bags, but so I can replenish them. So I have a 10-day bag, right? But you should at least have a bag, a backpack big enough for 3 days. It can hold enough supplies for 3 days. So in there, we have a rule of 3s. So you want to have illumination, right? Flashlight. It can be from fire, which is illumination and a heat source. You want to have 3 forms of illumination. You want to have 3 heat sources, okay? Because if you got 1, you got none. You got 2, you got 1, okay? So because you're going to lose stuff. Stuff's going to break, malfunction. Believe that. So you want 3 forms of illumination, 3 forms of a heat source. You want to have 3 days of food. And for 3 days of food, that could be 3 MRE packs. Okay. It can be 3 bags of trail mix. Okay, because you're not going to be doing a lot of physical humping. You're going to be doing more hiding, resting for 3 days. Okay. The water is the big thing. You're not going to be carrying 3 days worth of water. Most people are not. That's a lot. Okay. If you're talking about a quart of water a day, that can weigh you down. For me, I have some water packs in my bag. I have a canteen, okay, that holds 2 quarts. Well, a quart, so I have 2 canteens. And I have the most important thing, survival straws. So say I have a collapsible bottle and I'm running out of water. I find a puddle on the street. Say, oh my God, that's disgusting. You can get sick, dysentery from it. You sure can. But if you have a survival straw, you can drink right out of that puddle. Get the water right from it and it will not harm you. It's not the best tasting water, but it has filtered out all of that garbage. Right. Okay. Sure. So I have several survival straws. So have that with you. You want to have a good knife in your pocket, probably a portable flashlight in the other pocket. What else did you have? So you want to have a machete if you can, because you may have to cut through brush. To keep it 100, get you a firearm that you can carry on your person. I also, several people who've gone shooting with me, they know I have what I call a Naka shotgun. It's the size of, it would be about the size of a sawed-off shotgun, but a sawed-off shotgun is illegal. Okay. Right. This isn't even marked as a shotgun. So when you buy it, it's listed as a firearm. The reason why shotguns are illegal, they're modified, is you took the stock, you may have shaved it off, you took off the barrel. So a shotgun legally, you can't do that. But the Naka shotgun, it has a Raptor handle. It comes from the manufacturer like that, and it has a short barrel. So it's short enough I can stick it in my backpack. You wouldn't even see it. Right. Right. And it shoots 12 gauge shotgun shells. I also have the 20 gauge one for when I train people. Okay. So you're gonna need a firearm. That's a good one to have. Just know that shotguns are short range. Okay. I have other things. I don't show my firearms on line or television or anything like that. You're never going to get a still picture of me in my book SKG, Stick Knife Gun. You'll see me holding a firearm, first time ever in that. Right. But you're never gonna get me on video with a firearm talking about, you know, I'm a danger to the hood or some foolishness, and you're coming for me that way. You gotta work harder if you're coming for me on that tip, right? So
I think you get excommunicated if so. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You definitely get excommunicated rolling like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who you with. You must be with right. Grandmaster, Flat Master, Spin Master, whatever that clown name is.
I love my guns. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, the mix master make you wonder, because they say he got in trouble with the feds for pointing at feds. Come on, man. And he's alive.
Right.
And you pointing a firearm at the feds?
Nah, I think what that was, it was just you know, let's act like he really down. You
right.
Let's pull him off real quick and play it off so folks won't get thrown off because of the fact that we already know it's some bullshit. But
and that's why you got to be trained, because if you're not trained, you think that you know that's hard hitting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, man, come on. That's ignorant for him to do it. even if he did it, that ain't somebody you want to follow because he's dangerous as hell.
Super dangerous. I mean, point a weapon at anybody, let alone the feds. So,
Right.
whether he did it or
But
not,
a couple of them shot themselves too.
Yeah, Keystone.
It was like a chain reaction. Bow. Oh, what happened? Bow. Oh, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother story. I want to talk about the fact that for the remixes, the folks who follow us on the Remix Morning Show, Balogun will be joining us on Thursdays. He has a segment he's going to be doing, a technique of the week. So you can actually learn, because of the fact that I think that oftentimes, you know, folks get so used to people coming up online talking shit. You know what I mean? So we sometimes have to show the difference between real and Memorex. You know, so
Right.
Balogun will be doing a technique of the week, and also showing folks some different survival hacks, some ways to get in order. That'll be every Thursday, starting this Thursday on the Remix Morning Show. So we're honored to have that situation. In fact, what I want to do is I want to give a sample. I want to go to a video clip that I jacked from one of your pages. So you already know technologically I'm not advanced, so bear with me. We about to pull up one of the techniques of the week to kind of give you an idea of what Balogun will be showing you all. So stay tuned. I'm working on it, so bear with me.
I was about to say you more savvy than me, but I don't know.
Don't let me fool you. Give me 1 second. We with you. Okay. Anyway, while I'm setting that up, I'm gonna shout out some of the folks in the chat. I see Jared explaining to some of y'all what Memorex tapes are. You know what I'm saying? he said Uncle Kalonji may still think it's 1988. You're dead wrong, Jared. Anyway, let's take it to this joint real quick. Technique of the week.
Discovering the warrior within, technique of the week. Within the African martial arts, a lot of times certain accidents happen in your favor. We're going to work with a high knife thrust and show you how some of those accidents may take place. He thrusts high. I want to step off the line. He falls into an elbow. That's a nice accident. I wrap behind his elbow and I monkey paw my own wrist, which means I don't grab with my thumb underneath an opposing thumb. My thumb is on top. I switch my thumb to on top of his wrist to give me more pushing power down. I push down on his elbow to cause a dislocation. A trained fighter like himself, he's not going to just drop his weapon. So I go ahead and take my hand out of the monkey paw and grab his wrist, grab with my other hand. I step around and I go to take him down, and I accidentally slit his throat in trying to take him down. I dislocate the wrist to disarm him. And as I go down to check to make sure he's okay, I accidentally slit his throat, and my hand continues to go back, accidentally cut his femoral artery. Then I'm shocked at the cuts, and I go to check again. I accidentally cut up his body and stab up under his chin, stab into those glands in there, maybe up under his tongue. It accidentally hits that. I pull out and maybe accidentally go ahead and cut his jugular. I've already cut his carotid artery, and maybe accidentally I hit the jugular vein. Then I stand up and I acquire my target. That is technique of the week, defense against a high knife thrust with accidents. Now I'm going to do it at combat speed. When I thrust forward, this is half combat speed. I come around, lock. If I lock his wrist here, I lock the elbow. To do damage, I grab, take control of the wrist, come around, accidentally hit, I turn him over. I dislocate. On that one, I turn him over to his belly. That was an accident. I come down to check on him again. It severs the spine from the Abdullah Oblongata. I accidentally said that as I accidentally cut it. I'm shocked at the cut. I turn to make sure the rest of him is okay. I cut his nose. And then I look around to make sure somebody can give him some help. I accidentally jab down into his spine as I'm looking for his help. Then I look around the other way for help. I don't see any help that way. I accidentally hit him behind the ear, cracking that bone there with the pommel of my weapon. Then I stand up. I realize there's no help for the man. I go ahead and make sure I'm safe and that he's as safe as he can be at this point. And I call for his help. That is technique of the week, defense against the high thrust with accidents.
So as you can see, Balogun's quite the clumsy guy. He's you don't want to accidentally get fucked up by running up on Balogun. But anyway, that's an example or a sample of some of the things you'll be learning on Thursdays on the Remix Morning Show. Balogun's been, I mean, man, you've been training going on, what, 50 years now?
It'll be 50 years next April 10th.
Wow. So for some of y'all, he been whooping ass before you was born. You know what I'm saying? So you might not want to try this at home. You know what I mean? But definitely appreciate you coming on, Balogun. Man, it's always, man, hey, I've been I was consistent in class, then all of a sudden I disappeared again. But I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? I see XPJ7 in the comments. So hopefully he'll be back with us. How about that? I throw him under the bus real quick. Accidentally.
Accidentally, yeah.
No doubt. Balogun and I, we have a book that we've been working on. Actually, he finished this part like 15 years ago. And I'm working on completing mine. So I don't know. Can we give him the title, or should we just let him wait for that title?
Yeah, we can give it to him.
Okay, you tell him the title.
It's Jagun, the Afrikan Art of War.
Yes, Jagun, the Afrikan Art of War. We're looking at the fall this time. So I now said it publicly on Renegade Coaches, so I ain't got no choice.
And by the way, Jagun is a warrior. So
yes. And explain Jagun for folks that's listening, because of the fact I know you said warrior, but actually warrior is warrior, correct?
Right. So Jagun is warrior. Jagun is a warrior's warrior. So that means amongst warriors, you stand out because you're actually training to be that warrior. So when I said earlier, you have people that are the military, if you want to say that, and then you have the people. Okay. Yeah. The majority is the people. But then you have those that train the people who are going to protect the people, and that's Jagun.
Yeah.
That's the warrior's warrior. And then amongst them, you got with the Yoruba, at least, you have the Esho. So people talk about the samurai, you know, the Esho are 70 war chiefs, Balogun. So the word Balogun, that's actually my title, is not my name. That's my title, it's war chief. There's 70 war chiefs, and they're led by the Eni Ana Kakanfo. The Eni Ana Kakanfo is the war chief of war chiefs. Okay. And then the Esho are the war chiefs over the Jagun, and the Jagun are the warriors over the warriors.
Right on.
So when you talk about the Ena Ana Kakanfo, now that's a bad cat, where he has to fight war without a sword back in the day every 3 months to still qualify to be that the Kakanfo is what he's called. Okay. to be the Kaka Info, you have to actually fight a war every 3 months to qualify to be that thing. So if you got a long peacetime, then another Kaka Info is chosen, you know, after that. But during war, you have to be there. And they fought with a staff about the length of my arm. That was their tool. They could not fight with a sword. That was taboo for them. I'd have turned down that position because I wouldn't have been on no battlefield with just a little stick. I guess so. But hey, there had to be a bad cat.
Hey, listen, man. Only cat I know walk around that'll be on the battlefield with a stick will be Buford Pusser, walking tall, and he's
right.
And his ass wouldn't last in any hood that I know of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it sounds good on TV.
Either one of them, the Rock or the white dude who played him.
I forgot the old white dude. I forgot about the Rock's joint, but but definitely, yeah. So look out for Jagun, Afrikan Art of War, the long awaited on both ends, and you know that's our version of what we talking about. So many people yelling the Art of War, and they follow Asian everything. You know, all things Asian, and for some reason, I mean, you know, Africans just love everybody but themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
Still, when you talk about African martial arts, folks are still caught up in like, oh, you must have learned such and such, or is that kung fu? Is it jujitsu? Is it, you know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah. But I mean, you know,
a lot of Africans are heavily into taekwondo or kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they aren't doing their own thing. It's a sad state of affairs, brother. But you know, marketing is a mug.
It sure is. That's what it is.
So the Asian arts have been marketed to us just like Burger King has.
Sure
and
is.
So, shit, we go to those Asian arts. I can't hate on them for their marketing. And you know, their biggest marketer was Bruce Lee.
Right.
Bruce Lee is responsible for probably 99% of the people on the planet training.
Right. That's crazy.
You know, I mean, shit. You know.
No doubt. Well, hey, man, always honored to have you on. We will see Balogun on Thursday, every Thursday. Catch him. We'll be talking about, he'll be hitting you with urban survival tips and also these African martial arts joints. He'll be making a whole lot of accidents. So anybody interested in accidentally coming up on that, you know, be sure to tap in. Also, a lot of folks ask, you know, how can you catch the brother in your city or whatever? The peoplesarmy.org has a speakers bureau. You know what I'm saying? Check that out. Or you can go to the African Martial Arts Institute.org or .com.
African Martial, no. So you can catch us really now on either Instagram or Facebook, African Martial Arts with a K, African Martial Arts Institute on Facebook, or at African Martial Arts on Instagram. That's the easiest way.
No doubt. And you know, between that and Urban Survival Preparedness Institute, it's going to be a lot of things coming forward because of the fact that you know, like I said, if you're looking for those times, in the mortal words of your man from the West Coast, these is them. You know what I mean? We gotta be on point, man. It sounds good, you know, all that talk and chatter. It ain't gonna matter when these pigs and these tanks and these backwards ass rednecks roll up on you. So make sure you're on the right side of history and the right side of barricade. Balogun, salute, comrade. I'll see you soon. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And keep on winning.
All right. All of us, let's keep winning. Let's put in some work so we can be sure to win.
True indeed. All right, comrade. Stay on point. Talk to you in a minute. All
right. Peace.
All right, ready for revolution. Peace. You're live. This is Renegade Culture. I know some of y'all are like, man, this ain't the normal Renegade Culture. Usually it's a whole bunch of joking and all that, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we gotta tap in and we gotta remind each other of who we are. I was talking to some of the comrades earlier today. I had to remind myself of who I was because sometimes you get so caught up in what everybody else is doing that you forget your role and your purpose. So make sure that you always stay on point and make sure that you remember who you are, because of the fact that in the mortal words of Mobb Deep, there's a war going on outside. Nobody's safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever. Don't be a shook one. Make sure we're on the right side of things. Anyway, Renegade Culture, we'll see you again next week. Same station. Tune in every Tuesday through Thursday and check out the Remix Morning Show tomorrow at 2 p.m. I know it's an accountability summit right on BPM, so make sure that you check out the accountability summit right on BPM. Tell a friend, because accountability is a must. You know what I mean? We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate your support. Renegade Culture, Black Power TV, Black Power Media. We out of here. One.
May appear a confusing blur of activity, each ant doing its own thing, but it can't be. Somehow the ants coordinate their actions so that large insects are overwhelmed, killed, and carried back to the base.
Peers is dying and my people are suffering. The money's still low, you should see how they budgeting. What comes out your mouth? People are suffering. It's elementary, they want us all gone eventually. Peers is dying, people are suffering. The money's still low, you should see how they budgeting. Peers is dying and my people are suffering. Cause the money's still low, they want us all gone eventually. I swear to God, living in this economy's like a robbery. The government taxing me when they owe me for my property. You niggas act like you happy to live in poverty. When I feel like a king, they gotta make these fools acknowledge me. I'm royalty and loyal to the feeling of it. The contrast make it look thuggish. We talk, walk, and look rugged naturally. Nothing sad to see, we all a part of this tragedy. I'm mad at you, so why you mad at me?
We headed for the times of the 9, watch out 6. Sun cycle on the rise, moon cycle out the mix. Living on this planet of the snakes and the crucifix. Pardon yourself as I arc my way through, marching with my A-boom boom, making my debut. Like great balls of fire, nothing could save you in these replenishing times. I honor my dead, making my ancestors proud when it's off with your head.
Does my pencil possess potential to change mentals? Yes. Show what you can in this pack with the essential less. What is essential to keep it the sharpest against you? Yes. What is essential to keep it like a temple? Bless, alter the temple, keeping the beat simple and fresh. While they whimper and rest, I'm intuition like the simplest gas. Into tradition, I'm on a mission until I transition to give the up and coming a better existence.
I seen a reggae spawn reaching for a corner too. The older we get, it switches up the point of view. And they anointed you, leader of the free world. Desolate minds confined to the B-girl. The most benevolent is evident who I be. Graffiti on the wall, the crew drew Ali. Zoo true I key shifting on the paradigm. Raise the vibration, then go prepare the mind.
Define magnificent rare gem. Dig deep, the omnipotent, all seeing. I just peep the game plan. I pray for niggas, amen. Fat Sharpie spray can, I'm made man. The suede fans, no street skate, no beat taking. For Pete's sake, he's a beast quaking, the scene shaking. No mistaking, the ants conquer the elephants. FTP, RBG, the rest development.
What's the ant's secret that makes them the most efficient predators on Earth, consuming more meat than lions, tigers, and wolves combined?
I'm way medicated, puff lion, lace sedated, and stay dedicated to culture that created the essence of the lessons now delivered in my presence. Kalonji called upon me, so now I pose the question: how is it that the blacks came in whips and chains, having nothing else to lose and everything to gain? Now niggas entertain for some whips and chains, a white dame and some pain. Is that shit not strange? It's kinda hard holding down your dreams when you blacking in America with institutions set to bury you 6 feet underneath dirt, the debt deep, disciples psychological, we're making those ends meet and needs be. A hand feeds the other teasers. Gather thoughts, grab the Gatling for good reason. In between success, devil's greed, a pine box of mind jots elusive.
And why I come off in camouflage, can't take cloth. Eating lentils and vegetable broth, but I ain't never been soft. Beating the lost and forsaken by any cost, bones aching, working hard, trying to bring home the turkey bacon, breaking laws of gravity. Fuck with the family and watch me savagely crush craniums and chest cavities to pray for the casualties. Cause my anatomy is naturally, casually composed. This is self-construction for the soul.
I'm Black Dynamite, I'll blast you with my nitros. Spit a dope piece with a gold piece in a book with 5 disciples. We channeling boot mind, the revolution sparker. With 8 bars, cigar smoking some dark room on the altar. Watch the daughter work a mojo off the stage without a hype name. Electric verses turn the great crowd into light rain. Flood psyches with an ill beat, it's a brain food that's got high. Fly wisdom, called saucy, the enlightener, that's Sarah.
2012 and times are different yet the same. Nowadays the number of prisoners behind the cage outnumber amounts of those enslaved during the trades. And shit, we killing ourselves over what set you claim. Getting shot instead of hang. Nothing changed for the better except the cheddar of corporate profit to gain. The more money in your pockets, the more people in chains. Unite niggas who bang, destroy their main aim.
It's all connected, form a web like a Nazi. It's the people, Siafu is the army. Start a top contender, oil plots a new agenda. They even breathe on the track, sucker MC for dinner. All that garbage I penning, this right here's the ending. Words to venom, getting them wrapped in Egyptian linen. Coming for head this rapper, Kali will shake the rafters. Only thing standing after, walking natural disaster, rapture.